Going live, and we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Claire Wasserman here, founder and author of Ladies Get Paid. We are an educational platform, global community, and of course, a book all about helping women earn more and live better. And as part of that mission, I invite amazing women, some of the world's best coaches, to come join me to share how they also share our mission. And Emily and Lexie certainly do. They're all about women getting paid as well. They both do very interesting things individually. Have their own companies, but then teamed up to form a new company that helps women become coaches, or at least improve, scale their coaching practices. So that's going to be sort of the framing of today, is how to add a coaching revenue to your life. But before we dive into that, I'd love to, give maybe Lexie or Emily, whoever wants to go first, just tell us a little more about Ready, Set, Coach. And then we'll dive into the specifics of what folks can do if they are either not yet coaches and interested in exploring what that might look like. And then for those who've already started, how your program can help them. So whoever feels most compelled to start.
Emma, you going first. Go.
This is always our favorite game. Who goes first? Who's on first? So hi, everyone. Yeah, so Ready, Set, Coach is a 4-month intimate coaching cohort where we guide people through the steps of money, mindset, management, and messaging to help them launch and scale their coaching business. And high level, Lexie Smith and I met once in person a few weeks before the pandemic, and our friendship and our business relationship really blossomed virtually. And we got to the point where we saw so much synergy between the two of us that we knew that we had to birth some sort of business baby together. So Ready, Set, Coach was our business baby that was ideated in 2020, or conceived in 2020, and launched in 2021 with our first cohort. And we're currently launching our 5th cohort summer 2023.
Why did you feel, or maybe walk me through what exactly the program covers and why you felt compelled to start it? Because as business owners, we know how exhausting this can be. You have to really believe that A, it's needed, and B, you're the one to do it. So, and it's clearly working because you've continued it into your 5th cohort. So maybe, Lex, if you want to go into a little bit more detail about what the program covers, and then Emily, you can talk about, why did you choose to add another business to your life?
Our meet cute. Yeah. So Emily kind of set up the preface of what our 4 M's, or the cornerstone of our teachings, are, which is messaging, mindset, money, and management. That being said, what I like to say is we're business school for coaches. So we're going to teach you everything from how to set up your pricing, to how to market your business, to how to integrate it with an existing offering. If you are a consultant, for example, how to structure a coaching offering, how to build thought leadership as a coach. So it's super, super specific to the coaching business model. And it's formatted in a way where we really like to focus on co-collaboration and partnerships. So we do a lot of teaching on partnerships and marketing as well over the course of 4 months. So basically, takeaway, it's business school for coaches.
And one thing I'll also add to that too is it is a hybrid model. So we are meeting bi-weekly in live group coaching sessions. And then in the weeks that we have off, there's pre-recorded modules that are concise and to the point, associated with homework, that are for the students to go through, as well as they're assigned accountability buddies. So they're not left out there in the dark, having to manage things on their own. They're paired with another coach that they can review the homework with, they can practice selling with, and they also get the one-on-one support of Lex and I, both individually and through Slack.
The biggest obstacle do you find that people come to you with, and how much of it is, we'll just go through one by one what those obstacles are, and then how people can make changes. I'm just curious if how much of it's mindset versus like lack of information, confidence, marketing. I mean, there's so many facets to growing your business.
I'd say D, all of the above on that one, but I think mindset is a big one, where people will come to us and they have this idea of, if I build it, they will come. There's a lot of this feeling of like, I put a website out there and I should have a full roster of coaching clients by the end of the month because I now have a website and Google will do all of the work for me. And one of the big obstacles we have to really help people see and also overcome is this fear of social media. There's this feeling and perception of social media that if they are selling themselves or if they're selling their program, they're being salesy and slimy like a car salesman, and that's bad, and their past coworkers are going to think that they've sold out. And there's a lot of getting over social media in particular. And I think one of my favorite reframes that we like to tell them is, rather than thinking of it as selling, thinking of it as sharing and educating. Like you're doing something, someone might have been in a frame of mind and then seen your Instagram post, and their life could have been changed because of that post, rather than you convincing them to do something they didn't want to do. So I would say social media. The other thing too is knowing their worth is a big one. And this is exactly where you come in, Claire, too. But that feeling of, oh, well, I made $100,000 in my corporate world, but how can I charge money for me when it comes easily? Or this knowledge is so easy and assumed everyone knows X, Y, and Z. So really helping them structure their pricing and understanding it. And then the third part about pricing too is this assumption that they will take on 30 clients at a time, and not taking into account the marketing side of what it takes to get 30 clients, A, and B, also the energy it requires to service those clients. So being realistic about their time and their boundaries and their energy.
I think what Emily's really, really highlighting is a lot of the women come to us great at whatever they coach on, right? So they're an expert at being a health coach, or they're expert at the teaching. But all the other things, the running of the business, they have a ton of hurdles to the marketing, to sales, to mindset. And while they're phenomenal at their craft, we come and help with the foundational elements to make their craft a viable business so they can actually get paid.
Amazing. Quick question about your thoughts on giving things away for free, right? So that like top of the funnel, got to get emails, whether it's a quiz or a free webinar or free coaching sessions. I imagine your response will be, it's not necessarily a one size fits all, but there has been this predominant, I feel like, narrative, like you have to give something away for free, which Ladies Get Paid, we do a lot of free things. I also saw a coach really put her foot down and say, stop giving away things for free. You're like training people not to value you and pay you. I'm starting to get a little bit more on that train these days. How you feel?
I say that I think there's a time and a place for things. I think it's very similar to speaking, and I'll use a professional speaker as an example. I think if you are speaking at a group where you know that you're going to get clients out of it, is it necessarily doing it for free? Yes, but you know that there's going to net something. I have an example of someone who spoke at 6 Degrees, and she usually charges $7,000 for her speaking gigs, spoke for free, booked 5 clients, made $35,000 in that one thing. So is it speaking for free, or is it strategic lead generation?
And that, I think, goes back to knowing your time and energy and valuing your time and energy. Pricing also, do you, it's rough because we always say, do market research, are coaches willing to share? I find when it comes to entrepreneurship, gathering market data can be a little bit trickier. So I'm curious if you have suggestions for people who can really wrap their head around, where do they do that market research for what to charge? And also, how do you know when to increase your prices too?
Yeah, that's actually an entire module in our program. We're very, very pro market research. We're actually pro market research at multiple iterations and phases of your business. So it's not just before you launch. It's also anytime you're going to create a new offer, anytime you want to evolve your business, because the world is changing so quick. So yes, market research, where to go depends on who your people are. First and easiest place to tap always is your network. And I know that sounds simple, but putting the ask out there into the world, sometimes it's that simple to yield a result. Beyond that, it depends on who your person is. So let's say you're coaching moms, right? And we want to learn, we want to be a business coach for moms. Then maybe it's worth heading into some groups, some communities for moms, maybe a Hey Mama. Maybe it's identifying some Facebook groups that are for moms. Maybe it's hitting up your local mom Facebook group in Ventura down the road, right? So once you know who you're trying to target for. It's putting yourself where they're at and then being really authentic with your ask and straightforward. We teach our gals, it's completely up to them, but to be really respectful of people's time and consider throwing in something like a $5 gift card or something to really acknowledge that you're valuing the time that they're spending giving you data.
Mm-hmm. And I think just piggybacking on that idea of free and starting and knowing your worth and charging your worth, I'm very pro beta clients because I think you need to start somewhere. We all started a lot of times with an internship or shadowing someone or learning from someone, probably when maybe we were tossed a few dollars, maybe we were tossed stipends or college credit. But I think beta clients are really powerful. And I think they're a great way for you to boost your confidence and also understand what your transformation really is versus just going out of the gate hot, being like, I am really good at X, Y, and Z, this new thing that I just figured out yesterday without any social proof. Plus, having a beta client or those test clients give you the opportunity to build those testimonials, to help you pivot and iterate, and then charge more confidently moving forward. One of my favorite ways to tackle beta clients is to say, hey, I have a 4-month program. I'm building up beta clients. I'd love to give you a month of my program for free. If you'd like to continue working with me after that, then it's X, Y, and Z pricing, and we can move into that. And so also, if these people do decide to opt into coaching with you moving forward, it also gives you extra validation of what you're doing is working.
Essentially putting an intention behind the free, right? So making sure there's a goal attached.
Mm-hmm. A little tip from me that I've been doing is, because I'm now going to be launching a private coaching, a 6-month cohort, and I'd like to talk to you guys about deciding different pricing models, right? But going from the hourly to a monthly retainer to just figuring out like combo packages. But what I did to lead up to that was go to Ladies Get Paid Pro members and say, I will do 30 minutes for free with you if I can use this as content on my LinkedIn. I will protect your identifying details. I'm not going to say who you are, but I will talk about the challenge you're facing and some key takeaways. And that A, has allowed me to get better at, my own craft. B, I'm building a pipeline. But C, I'm not just waiting and hoping it's going to convert. I'm using it now as content because I also realized, and this, by the way, goes back to what you said earlier about it's not self-promotion. It's really like value, it's sharing value with people. Instead of just telling people to sign up for, my coaching, why don't I show them what they're going to get with these real people? So I would super recommend for everybody, whoever, you can be in the beta testing, like it's you practicing out loud and they get value, you get value, and the people you share this with are going to get value immediately, not waiting until, you have a bunch of signups. I'm seeing Lucy Samuel's comment. What an amazing topic. Love Lucy. Lucy is also a business owner. She actually helps people with their resume. So feel free to keep commenting, Lucy. So what do you think about those like pricing models? And again, it's not one size fits all and things do change over time. So maybe your advice that you give us could be, how do we kind of approach this? Or what should be some variables that we look at to determine what pricing model is best for our coaching business?
Oh, we love this topic. And we wrote an article on this for Create and Cultivate. We're happy to share in the comment thread too after if that's helpful. But numbers are so important when you're going to get into business. So first and foremost, understanding what numbers you need to know. Basics like your gross and your net, right? How much do you want to take home from your coaching practice? Now that number will be drastically different if you're relying on this as a sole income or a side hustle. So step 1, figure out what you want to take home. So here's Lexie doing math on the spot. Here we go. Let's say it's 50K. Let's say you want to take 50K and you can roughly predict your expenses for the year are 20K. Okay, right? So we know we need to generate in our business roughly 70K. Okay, now knowing that 70K goal, we can start to play with some different pricing packages and models. Do we want to do one-on-one coaching? Do we want to do group coaching? How many group cohorts do you want to offer in a year? What's your total client load? You can start to play with that number to back your way into a number. You then say, once you have that number, shop it against the market. Because the reality is you could have the same bottle of water. Someone will pay $1 for it. And then you go to, LAX, and you're going to pay $10 for it. It's the same bottle of water. So pricing can really, really range. But if you're looking for a place to start, that's kind of the advice we give.
Awesome. I love that. Anything to add on that front, Emily?
Yes, I would say that I think that consulting is a good place to do hourly. And I think coaching, it is a better place to do packages or to do more of a program, because when you're thinking about your work hourly, you're not factoring in the support and the creation of the documents that the homework templates, the modules, all of the things in between, and you're not typically factoring that into the pricing. So I like to say, stick to a program length, a dedicated program length. So you said a 6-month program for you, Claire, rather than you letting people be flexible of like how many times they get access to you in between. You tell your clients where to go and how often you're meeting. We're meeting bi-weekly. We're meeting for 60 minutes bi-weekly. And then the 6-month package is $6,000, and you can pay me in full for $6,000, or you can pay me in 4 payment plans of X, Y, and Z. And you can add a little interest into payment plans if that feels right to you, or you can do a flat rate, but factoring in those costs that Lexie talked about, knowing like if you're doing payment plans, you're going to be losing a little bit more money by doing more credit card fees over the time. So I think that's easier to sell, and it's usually more encompassing. And you can also throw in extra bonuses, access to Ladies Get Paid, access to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring together what you both said on beta clients. This is something Emily and I really, really suggest if you're new at coaching. The easiest place to start before building out some crazy 6-month program that you want to charge $10K for, unless you're someone who already has a volume or a community to market to, start with a simple 1-hour coaching session. You can start beta, then work up to paying and charging for it. What you're going to learn through these coaching sessions are questions that get brought up. You're going to see themes. You're going to start to realize who you like to work with, who you maybe don't like to work with. And that can lend itself to the ideation and creation of a longer form program.
Yeah, I want to talk about messaging for a minute. Where, any tangible tips right off the bat of just thinking of the struggles that either you or clients that you've worked with have had when they go like, I know what I'm really good at, but for some reason I'm having a hard time expressing it just on my website, let alone how I'm marketing myself beyond that. Maybe this is about elevator pitch. Maybe this is about narrowing down services. What are some first steps you might give people for how they can start to approach this?
Go ahead, Lex.
So we like to say kiss it, which is keep it stupid, silly, or keep it simple, silly, right? So the way we like to think about messaging, and this is a theme, we were just talking about this on our podcast last week. A lot of people come into the coaching industry and they either feel resistant to the word coach or resistant to having a simple coaching title, such as business coaching, because they feel they do so much more than that. And they probably do, right? They probably are a business mentalist, trauma healing certified 5 title right thing, right? And that's great. And there's a time and a place to have that copy. There's a time and a place to present that when maybe you're on a sales call. But in terms of marketing and messaging strategically, 1, you want to be searchable, and 2, you want people to get it right away. So we would say, generally speaking, niche yourself from a title perspective into something that people get, and then keep what you do to 1 to 2 sentences. I help people X by Y, and that X is the overcoming of a problem. So I help ladies get paid. I help ladies get paid through a 6-month interactive coaching program. It doesn't sound like all that snazzy, but it's memorable, and it's something that people can retain. But yeah.
I would add to that also in that having a line that's easy to digest, that a 10-year-old could digest and then pass on to someone else. So Lexie at the beginning had mentioned that we're like business school for coaches. And so you're like, oh yeah, business school. I get what business school is. And I know what a coach is. So like, I get it. I figure it out. And so even when Postmates came out, and this is ironic because it was, I think, acquired by Uber, but it was like, it's Uber for food. Like, it's on demand. It just comes there. So you get it and you're able to, what Uber is, what food is, and you can get the model. So keeping it simple, keeping it something that is easy to share with others and for others to share with other people. Because at the end of the day, what's most important is you want people, once you've left the room, you want people to keep talking about you and saying the right things.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. One thing that has helped me really narrow down what I can help people with, because I can help them with, there's so many facets of their career. And I knew I wanted to expand beyond salary negotiation, but well, it could be a lot. What was super helpful was in these 30-minute free call that I've been doing. And like I mentioned earlier to anybody who wasn't here for this, I'm not just doing these for free. I am posting them as content on my LinkedIn. Okay. So I just want to always underscore, like, free needs to have a purpose. But what I did after these calls, in reflecting on how they went, I really found the moments in that coaching that I really truly became alive. So I did not focus on who was helped the most. Because I don't want to be doing something just because I happen to be good at it. I really want to be very excited about it. And what are those micro moments in that experience, the aha moments, and what are the patterns to those aha moments? And I realized a lot of it was navigating risk, like navigating change. So somebody wanting something bigger for themselves and coming to me with a lot of reasons why they couldn't do it. And if I could show them sort of the path forward, I got really freaking excited. Now, of course, that can be manifested in a lot of different ways. And so there were next steps of how do you keep it simple, silly. I was going to say keep it simple, stupid. I actually wrote down, I do X by Y. I think that was extremely helpful. But in order to get it into that sort of funneled place, make sure that you're starting with truly what is lighting you up in this experience of coaching, because there could be a lot of different ways, again, that it gets expressed. Would you say, we have about 6 minutes or so left. So, if there's things we haven't yet covered, I know boundaries is a big part, because, if you're going to work for yourself, I would say one question about boundaries would be setting boundaries with clients. But I think it's if you're juggling a full-time job and you have a side coaching business, how do you manage both? And at what point, if you do want to make your side your full, again, it's a personal question. Oftentimes it really just comes down to the financials. I'm sure in your own lives and also in those you've helped, just ways, again, to start approaching the conversation around boundaries. So wherever you want to start, whether it's boundaries with a client or boundaries with your full-time job, I'll let whoever wants to jump in at whatever point of all of my questions.
Oh, I think Lex, you're muted. No, you're not muted. We just can't hear you. Well, I'll start with boundaries. So boundaries, one of the things is you mute your co-founder. That's the easiest boundary to start things off with. No, I'm just kidding. So I think personal boundaries are something to take into account, especially if you're doing coaching as a side hustle. You want to make sure that you aren't burning yourself out and you're starting to resent your side hustle. So thinking about, when is this going to work for you, and when is this going to actually be purposeful for you to do the work. So a lot of times we have a ton of individuals in our cohorts who have very, very time intensive full-time jobs, and they're also launching this side business. And they're like, I don't know when, I don't have enough time in the day. And I think we've heard this our whole life, but time is a construct, and you need to make the time if this is something that you are serious about getting off the ground. So at the beginning of launching your business, look at holes in your day. Are there opportunities for you, at 6 a.m. to dedicate 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. time to just focusing on and writing out what you want your business to be? Can you block those out for the entirety of the year so it doesn't get overbooked by anything else? So I think that's one part, is just carving out boundaries for you as as a business owner or side hustler.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're here. I was trying to tee you up anyways. I'm like, Emily, you should talk about because you had a job. But no, I think that's great. First and foremost, knowing your non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables? Those might look different. If you're a mom, it could be around your child. If you're not a parent, it could be you just really want to make sure you have Friday nights to, I don't know, go out to the restaurant. Doesn't matter. You have your own lifestyle. So once you have your non-negotiables with your lifestyle, you're going to be ultimately left with some sort of bucket of time. That bucket left becomes a choice. The thing we talk on our soapboxes about all the time, because I think we all hear it, and let's be real, we've probably all said it, is the phrase, I don't have time. Really, it's where are you choosing to put your focus? And I think it's worth, we didn't really share, but Emily has, oh my gosh, I'll let you say how many things you do. I know I have 2 businesses, I'm a mom, I have 2 podcasts, and somehow I'm finding time to do this, right? Emily has a networking community. She's a business coach. She has Ready, Set, Coach. She does some side projects. She's also a mom. She's a wife. She's a friend, right? Like people do a lot. Claire, I can't even imagine how many things you do. Yet we've all 3 found time to come together today and do this LinkedIn Live, which we could have easily said we didn't have time for, right?
So essentially the importance of scheduling things into your calendar, using your calendar to your advantage. And on that same vein, one of the biggest misses that I did my first year of business, and I'm curious, Claire, if you did this as well, is I totally thought that I forgot about holidays. I didn't block my calendar for holidays, and it would be Memorial Day and all my friends were having plans. And I was like, I scheduled 10 meetings and some psychopaths accepted those meetings. And so putting those boundaries in place now, and also thinking of future you. So during my birthday, I love taking my birthday off. So I block my birthday now, or I block summer Fridays. Lexie and I are huge on summer Fridays and blocking them for the whole year. So we know that we're not going to have calls, and we can maybe do some admin work, but we can also have fun on those days because we don't have a manager giving us permission to take the day off. We need to remind ourselves to give ourselves that grace. And then also not working on the weekends. If you're a side hustler, that might be the only time that you can work on your business. But for us, having done this full time, is knowing that that's a non-negotiable for us, that we really want to be present with our families during that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it's given that I don't have a boss, that means the quote rules don't apply. So therefore, what does a 7-day, use? Don't even treat the weekends like the weekend. I take Wednesday usually as like the day that I'm sort of burnt out and over my business. And I oftentimes will like not work on Wednesdays or not work on Wednesday afternoon. Because for some reason on a Sunday, I like to work because I'm like not getting emails from people. There's something about, I mean, I know when I have my kids, like things will change, of course. And that is actually another huge thing is be ready for change. So that means continually be checking in for yourself. Just because something worked in that season of your life, when you start to feel like something's not working, what's wrong? It's because things change, right? Yeah. So having that kind of feedback loop or reflection loop for yourself to say, does the way that I was currently structuring and pricing, does that still work for me? Because even through the pandemic, things just dramatically changed because of the pandemic. So we're technically at time. So I would say if there's anything you haven't yet shared that you think would be helpful, this is a great time to do it. And then secondly, where can people find you, follow you, and most importantly, pay you / join your cohort?
Yes. One comment I'll add, and I'll make it succinct on the client boundaries part, is a reframe that's helpful, because a lot of new coaches want to go above and beyond and work 24 hours. It is to your client's benefit for you to not burn out. So if you want to deliver 110%, set boundaries day one. Now, again, that's a whole podcast. I'll leave that there. We have a podcast, so we'll drop the links. We talk about all things coaching. It's the Ready, Set, Coach podcast. We are enrolling right now for our summer cohort. You can learn more. We'll drop the links at Ready, Set, Coach program. And Em and I are both super open to connecting and chatting, so feel free to add us and slide into our DMs.
And thank you for having us, Claire. We loved being here today.
Big fans.
way, for those wondering where the links are going to be, come to the Ladies Get Paid LinkedIn page, because I know this is simultaneously casting on our Facebook and our YouTube. So Ladies Get Paid page, you see all of our names. You can connect with us there. You can also find me on Instagram at Claire Gets Paid and ClaireWasserman.com for my coaching. Really inspired by both of you. You are multi-hyphenates. You're doing it. Multi-podcasts, like really wonderful. And to the boundary conversation, you are setting a good example for other people, and use it as a teachable moment. So when you set boundaries, literally say, watch what I'm doing here. And the person's going to go, holy crap, because chances are they need to do that too. Same thing with increasing your prices. That's inspirational for people. So, there's no shame in it. You're helping yourself and others. Thank you guys all so very much. Thanks to everybody watching. Tomorrow is Friday. So if you're watching it live, tomorrow's Friday, and I'll be sharing takeaways from coaching sessions that I did this week. Again, sort of purposing the free content that I do. Thank you all so very much. Now go get paid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.